Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked where I climb the online Series 1 VGC ladder in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and provide live commentary as I go. In this video, I'm going to be featuring the team that two-time Japanese national champion and world's runner-up Hirofumi Kimura used to finish third in the very first ranked season of VGC in Scarlet and Violet. The team has Weakness Policy, Weak Armor, Armarouge, which you can activate either through your own Palafin, which can flip turn to activate both of those, as well as Sylveon, which has Quick Attack, and you can also Dark Terra with the Armarouge to also get that combo going. In addition, the team has Life Orb Salamence, Physical with Steel Terra, Assault Vest Garchomp, as well as Sylveon, as I mentioned earlier. And so, yeah, it's a really fun team, and it has some really cool combinations and tricks up its sleeve. So, as always, I'll do a quick breakdown of the team, but if you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps down below. And thank you so much, as always, for watching. If you enjoy, would really appreciate it if you consider leaving a like on the video or subscribing to the channel. Really helps me out a ton. Anyway, let's just dive into things. So normally I do these breakdowns in Showdown, but there's actually a really in-depth team report for this written in Japanese. So I'll link the initial team report down below, and a user called Currybean very kindly actually translated it into English. And so I figured it would make more sense to actually walk through this translated version, but please go check out Hirofumi. I've linked his Twitter and YouTube down in the description below, as well as Currybean, who is the translator for this report. And of course, Rental and Paste are also down in the description below. So as you can see, this is the team up here. There are a lot of fun combos to go with in my experience. Like I played with like Salamence plus Garchomp lead a bunch. You can go Indeedee Armarouge, for example, Palafin Armarouge, Sylveon Armarouge, but it's interesting. Actually, my experience playing with the team, it's been a little bit different from how Hirofumi actually used it, and so we should actually get some, insight into how he's utilized it. And so, yeah, once again, he finished third in the first ranked season with this team and had a win rate of 74-16, which is really wild, especially on high ladder, and so I'm excited to just dive into things. This is a really in-depth team report and also breaks down kind of how the team came together, and so I think that's really cool to look into. Kind of started with the Indeedee plus Armarouge combination. Sylveon was then added, and you can actually self-activate Weak Armor on the Armarouge even if Psychic Terrain is up when you self-Quick Attack. That's one of the unique interactions about going for self-priority even when Psychic Terrain is up, so keep that in mind. So this was kind of the initial core. Salamence then got added. Salamence has actually been really impressive. I think like using both the physical and special sets recently, Life Orb plus Tailwind plus all these strong attacks that it gets just makes it super powerful. Salamence is also nice. This physical set has dual wing beat, so you're able to hit like Amoonguss for more. It also has Brick Break, which can catch opponents off guard, especially things like Tyranitar and Steel type Pokemon, for example. Palafin kind of got added onto the team for the potential kind of flip turn combination, which is really fun. So you can go Palafin, Armarouge plus Indeedee. But I think what's kind of cool about looking at this team report is that that's not how the initial team started, right? Instead, it was actually Palafin being added as the fifth Pokemon. And then the final Pokemon ended up being Garchomp, which kind of covered for a lot of the weaknesses here, especially things like Armarouge, Indeedee, Mirror, as well as Volcarona plus King Gambit. And one thing that I love here is Hirofumi, of course, finished second at Worlds in 2019, and he used Groudon, Necrozma, Tapu Lele, and Salamence to, get second at that tournament. And he was saying how this team felt really similar to it, and I always think it's really fun when players adapt old strategies or old Pokemon to kind of, like newer metagames. So it's kind of it for how the team came together. Armarouge is the first Pokemon here, and what I love about this team report is just giving you very specific breakdowns on kind of, what the EV spreads do. So this defensive EV spread allows you to tank Jolly, Meowscarada knockoff, and then also outspeed, max speed, Choice Scarf Tatsugiri after the Weak Armor activation, which is really nice. And so, yeah, I think like the main thing with this Armarouge, in my experience playing with it, is I actually haven't gotten too many self-activations with the Weakness Policy and Weak Armor, but Weak Armor in itself is a really good ability, right? You can immediately boost your speed, and Armarouge suddenly is super fast, and your opponents often aren't expecting that, so you can utilize that to your advantage. If you're using this team, don't just think about, oh, I have to activate Weakness Policy. Think about how you can also just activate Weak Armor to get an immediate speed boost and catch your opponent off guard. Of course, if the Weak Armor and Weakness Policy boost is combined, then you are just looking really, really strong. But often, like, I actually found it harder to get that combination off because it requires a lot of specific setup. So keep that in mind. You've got Dark Terra here as well, by the way. Indeedee is the next Pokemon. This is an interesting set because it's actually got the Colbur Berry rather than the Psychic Seed, and so the idea here is with this EV spread, you can survive Jolly, Meowscarada, Terra Boosted Flower Trick, as well as surviving 7/8 of the time Modest, Choice Specs, Hydreigon, and with Colbur Berry you can obviously survive just other like dark type attacks. And so Indeedee here mainly as a Trick Room user. This team can be flexible between Trick Room and Tailwind, which I think is really nice. And so, yeah, the idea is that this mainly can set up Trick Room as well as Follow Me, and of course, set up the Psychic Terrain for the Armarouge. Sylveon is the next Pokemon here, and this is a Throat Spray set. This is pretty standard, right? Hyper Voice, Terra Blast, Quick Attack, Protect. Terra Blast plus Fire Terra is just really nice because it allows you to actually beat Golden Go and other Steel types in general, which is quite nice. And Hyper Voice in general is just really powerful. Quick Attack is mainly used, of course, to self-activate the Armarouge Weak Armor plus Potential Weakness policy if you Dark Terra, which is pretty cool. And once again, even in Psychic Terrain, that still works. So keep that in mind. This is the next Pokemon in Salamence. This is just max speed, max attack, jolly nature with Life Orb. I do like max here because some players have been using like modest Salamence, for example, like Jody, who finished top 4 at San Diego Regionals. And so having max speed just means that at worst you speed tie with opposing Salamences. And so yeah, it's just to maximize your damage output. And Brick Break allows you to hit things like King Gambit and Tyranitar, and also break through screens, which is really nice. Otherwise, Dual Wing Beat, Dragon Claw for same type attack bonus, and Tailwind, and Steel Terra here just for a defensive option. Garchomp is the next Pokemon. I actually really love this Garchomp. It has Assault Vest, and so you can survive Modest Tatsugiri Draco Meteor, which is pretty cool as long as it's not a max roll, and also outspeeding max speed Glamora. I think this is actually a pretty nice benchmark to hit because Glamora was a Pokemon that popped up in popularity, especially at San Diego Regionals, which I thought was interesting with choice specs. And so, yeah, it's Assault Vest. You survive a lot of attacks, and you also have just good coverage. Stomping Tantrum is really big here. I think people generally don't expect this on Garchomp, and so they see Garchomp, they're like, oh, I can just Wide Guard you to wall your Earthquake and Rock Slides, but Stomping lets you get around that, which is really fun. You've also got Palafin here. This is a Choice Scarf variant that is guaranteed to tank Dondozo, Flying Terra Blast in Zero form, and actually outspeed +3 Dondozo as well. Flying Terra Dondozo with, you know, speed boost Tatsugiri was popping up, especially towards the end of the last ring season. So this is great meta awareness to try to cover for that, right? So you're generally using this to either flip turn into your own Armarouge or use late game wave crashes. Of course, Haze is going to be your definitive counter into Dondozo teams. And close combat's really important into those dark type Pokemon, like, for example, King Gambit. So yeah. So it's interesting, if you actually look at kind of the main leads with this team, in my time playing with it, I actually really did not default to a lot of these combos, mainly because I was so hyper-focused on trying to, like, activate Armarouge. But yeah, like Sylveon Salamence for some quick early game damage, and then Indeedee Armarouge to clean things up. Against opposing Indeedee and Armarouge teams, you can go with Armarouge plus Garchomp. The Garchomp threatens with, you know, potential Stomping Tantrum, and Armarouge here can Wide Guard. And then against Dondozo Tatsugiri, you can go with Salamence plus the Armarouge with Indeedee and Palafin in the back. So what's interesting is these are, like, the kind of the main modes of the team, but it doesn't actually even feature like the Palafin into Armarouge or the Sylveon into Armarouge as the lead combos, and that's because it can be a little bit difficult to actually get the Armarouge going given the amount of teams that can counter that in the format. But what I love about this team is your opponents will look at this team and often expect those combos, and so you can catch them off guard with all of these different combinations. So yeah, that's it for a breakdown. Let's quickly talk about some weaknesses. So I think in terms of weaknesses, at least in the way I played with the team, first of all, Wide Guard is just kind of annoying, right? You have Expanding Force here on Armarouge, Earthquake and Rock Slide on Garchomp, Hyper Voice on Sylveon, so any Pokemon that can threaten Wide Guard in itself is already kind of annoying. In addition, I've had games where I try to go all in on Armarouge, for example, Sylveon Armarouge or Palafin Armarouge lead, but then my opponent just has like really strong Pokemon against Armarouge. Dark type Pokemon are a nightmare for Armarouge, right? Because you can't just go for the easy setup into Indeedee here. And so, yeah, that makes things substantially more difficult. And so if you try to, you know, commit to the Armarouge, you go like Palafin Armarouge and your opponent has like a Hydreigon, for example, you're already in a really difficult position. That's why this team actually often goes with like Sylveon Salamence, right? As a lead combo instead of like Palafin Armarouge or Sylveon Armarouge. It's just, yeah, I think when I first saw this team intuitively, I was like, oh, this is just an Armarouge team where you always activate weakness policy, but it's actually not really like that, which I think is really, really interesting. But yeah, if you know, commit to the Armarouge and your opponent has strong dark type Pokemon, that can be a really big nuisance. I think Garchomp here is strong, but, you know, Intimidates can really hamper it, and Wide Guard is also still kind of annoying. I think one other thing to keep in mind is that you don't have Protect on the Garchomp, the Palafin, or the Salamence, and so your opponents can often take advantage of that. For example, I have had matches where like Spore just comes out and really causes a lot of problems for me immediately. I also think, like, because this team is so public and well known, knowing the Terras are Steel on Salamence and Garchomp, like, your opponent can really leverage that to their advantage, and yeah, potentially, you know, play around that and make predictions that normally you wouldn't expect your opponents to make. Palafin here is Choice Scarf, which is nice, but you don't have Rain, and in addition, you don't have something like Choice Band. So even if you transform, like, Choice Scarf Wave Crash isn't exactly that powerful, given relative to, I don't know, like Choice Band, Wave Crash, and Rain. And so, like, I've had games where like Palafin is kind of nice, but it's kind of walled in the end game. For example, bulky water type Pokemon can be really annoying. I actually had a lot of trouble against an Azumarill when I was practicing with this team, and it just completely walled almost everything I had. I fired Terran Sylveon, and an Azumarill just could hit me for super effective damage as well. So that was one other thing that was annoying. But yeah, I think like when you bring Armarouge, you have to be really careful about how you utilize it. And I think a lot of my losses were me to just me being really greedy and trying to go for this weakness policy setup, but not actually having much success with it. So yeah, I think the leads are really important here. It's all about just figuring out how you can distribute the most amount of damage. So it's a quick breakdown for weaknesses. Let's get into these games. Okay, we got Murkrow, Goldengo, Dragonite, Annihilate, Hydreigon, and Meowscarada. So, like, I'm worried about Haze from Murkrow, so I can't go with Palafin plus Armarouge that easily. Salamence can set up our own Tailwind, though, which is really valuable. And, like, Armarouge is still decent. Like, I'm willing to go Salamence here because I could dual Wing Beat potentially into Annihilate. Maybe Garchomp feels really good here. Yeah, I don't know if this is really the best game for Palafin plus Armarouge. So I'm thinking Salamence for Tailwind Pressure. AB Garchomp. Sylveon. I don't think Palafin's really that good, actually, right? I'd rather have Armarouge. Okay. We're just going to go pretty offensive here. Basically, the thing with Palafin plus Armarouge is if they don't have, like, good immediate speed control, we can just get it activated and start spamming Expanding Force. But here my opponent has Murkrow, right? And Murkrow is annoying for two reasons. One, it can set up Tailwind, thus allowing my opponent to move before Palafin even moves. And two, it's Dark typing, so it's immune to Expanding Force. We go with Dragonite plus Annihilate, though. Okay. So, let's see if you are... Okay, you are not Inner Focus. I do activate Defiant, though. Curious if it's Choice Scarf here. Because I'm definitely down to click Tailwind right now. Tailwind into Dragon Claw. Because then that sets up Sylveon for success. It could be a defensive Terra from Dragonite. But I think if we get Tailwind up, given the lack of Murkrow right now, Sylveon is going to be in a really good spot. Okay, they go for normal Terra. Ooh, I guess it could be a double up potentially on a Salamence to deny me Tailwind. Okay, but they go for final game. Oh, sorry, close combat. That works for me. Yep. Looks like Choice Scarf as well. The most important part here is getting Tailwind up. Okay, Dragon Claw just to break the multi-scale. Ooh, and they have Ice Spinner. Okay. They do survive on 3, but another one will obviously KO me. Sorry, not another one. Extreme Speed. Could activate my Weak Armor this way, though. Yeah, I'm down for that. And go for a Dragon Claw onto Annihilate. Salamence Fainting would have been better for me, because it would have been a free switch into Sylveon, which would have been excellent. But we get to bring Weak Armor Armarouge out now. There's Extreme Speed. It's -1, so I don't think it should do that much. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, that activates our speed, so now we're very speedy. I get Dragon Claw into Annihilate. They close combat, perfect. Free switching into Sylveon now. Okay. I think the debate with Sylveon is, do I want to click Quick Attack? I mean, I could go for Dark Terra into Quick Attack, right? But they might just be willing to click Close Combat right now. Don't know the item here. Sylveon's not exactly that speedy either. 2 turns of Tailwind left. I'm honestly down to Protect into Hyper Voice right now. Like, that activates my Throat Spray. Okay, Annihilate switches. fine. Maybe Golden Go. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is fine, right? Because it activates Throat Spray, and then now I can pressure with Armor Cannon this next turn into Golden Go. Cool. Make Extreme Speed into Armarouge. Great. That's what we're looking for. And Sylveon gets Hyper Voice. Thus activating Throat Spray as well. I know you can't Terra with Golden Go. There was a crit onto Dragonite, so it looks like it's confirmed to be Assault Vested. That's good to know. Sylveon's in a really good spot right now, though, I would argue. And with this speed boost, even with Annihilate in the back, like, I mean, I can just quick attack it or, you know, just outspeed it. Even with the defense drop, I should survive an attack here. So let's just Armor Cannon now into Golden Go and then Hyper Voice. I think their team is really Sylveon weak at this point. Okay, Golden Go protects. That's fine. An Extreme Speed. That's going to give me another speed boost, which is kind of funny. Yep. So this is one of the other cool things, right? Like with weak armor, there's unique ways of speed control against Tailwind. With us having quick attack on Sylveon, I can also finish off Annihilate should it come back out. I actually wouldn't mind. No, actually, no, we do want Dragonite to faint here. Ooh. I was going to say I wouldn't mind Dragonite not fainting, but Extreme Speed can just KO me right now. Okay, given that, I think I have to Protect and Fire Terra, which is fine. Protect, Fire Terra, and just Hyper Voice. Yeah, it's okay. The main reason for this is because Extreme Speed is just going to move first before Quick Attack. But if anything, I'm glad that it didn't KO because we did get that critical hit. I think 3 Hyper Voices would have gotten the knockout anyway, so in the end, the critical hit didn't matter. I'd rather have a game where, yeah, crit doesn't matter. So Armarouge is just going to commit the Protect here. Fire Terra protects us from Golden Go. They're just going to Extreme Speed. Perfect. We're just going to Hyper Voice here to chip away at the Golden Go as well. And they go for Make It Rain. We know that you're not Choice Specs. So against Sylveon, shouldn't do that much damage, but let's see. Yeah, not bad. That was what, 44? It's Life Orb as well. Good to confirm that. So we should know the items. AB Dragonite, Life Orb, Golden Go, Choice Scarf on the Annihilate. I think where this game becomes interesting is if you have Meowscarada in the back. And it's a question of whether or not you have Sucker Punch. Sash Meowscarada is kind of scary, but they bring Annihilate back out immediately. Okay, given that, I'm down to just Armor Cannon into Golden Go and Quick Attack into Annihilate. Yeah, I'm surprised they brought Annihilate out over their final Pokemon, so it makes me wonder what their final one is. Beautiful. Quick Attack gets the KO. Armarouge is so speedy right now, thanks to the +4 speed. You can get Armor Cannon off, beautiful. Perfect. Okay, not bad. It's a 3v1 now, and I have +1 special attack Sylveon, +4 speed Armarouge, and a Salamence for Intimidate support in the back, so I don't think anything in the back can 1v3 it right now. It was Meowscarada. I really think they should have brought Meowscarada out first. That's interesting. Okay. Curious if it has Sucker Punch, but at this point I think it's too late for them to win, because I can just Armor Cannon into Hyper Voice. So even if you have Focus Sash, there's not much you can do. But I think, like I said, if Meowscarada comes out, I don't know if you have Sucker Punch or not. So I would try to play around that possibility. And then that becomes pretty scary, right? Meowscarada could also just knock off into Sylveon. Although I guess Sylveon didn't have the item anymore, so it wouldn't do that much damage. And we were Fire typing as well, so we resist the Grass type attacks. But yeah, I think with Annihilate coming out, it was a pretty clean win. But if they had like Protected, for example, with the with the Golden Go as well, that could have put them in a better spot. But yeah, that turn just essentially sealed us the game. So yeah, I think this one was interesting because we didn't actually use like the Armarouge combination. I actually think it would have been decent here since they didn't bring Murkrow or the Hydreigon, and so the Pokemon they ended up bringing, I think Armarouge actually would have been decently powerful into. But yeah. They've also got Indeedee Armarouge here, Murkrow, Golden Go, Gastrodon, and Torkoal. There's a lot that shuts down the Armarouge combo here. They've got Gastrodon and Indeedee. Murkrow is also quite annoying. So I think we prioritize Sylveon. I think Wide Guard from Armarouge scares me here. What do I want to go with? Salamence, Garchomp. They have Trick Room, obviously. Part of me just wants to send it, honestly. I don't think it's effective here, though. They have too much counterplay. I think Assault Vest Garchomp's really solid. Okay, I'm down for Salamence plus Garchomp, Sylveon plus Armarouge. Gastron is as good of a Palafin counter as you'll get, right? Like, Palafin just relies so heavily on water-type attacks, especially Wave Crash and Flip Turn. So, just switching in Gastrodon makes Choice Scarf Palafin completely useless. So because of that, I don't think it's a very good bring. Like, just the presence of a single Pokemon completely shutting down an entire set is really bad, I would say. Yeah, so they just go with Armarouge plus Indeedee. Okay. Armarouge, Indeedee. I don't know. Wide Guard definitely could come out right now. It could also be like Protect, Trick Room. Down a Stomping Tantrum and Dual Wing Beat here. I mean, like, I could see Wide Guard, Trick Room, Follow Me, Trick Room, Protect, Armarouge, Indeedee, Trick Room. Nice. They do go for Wide Guard. Okay, excellent. Sweet. This is one of the advantages of running Stomping Tantrum on Garchomp. Not many people expect it. Well, that's really good. And then, what? You'll probably just bring out Torkoal. Now, we don't have Flash Fire on Armarouge, obviously, so I don't wall Torkoal as much. I expect Trick Room to go up here. Yeah. But getting rid of Armarouge like that is a really big deal. Because, like, expanding Force Spam under terrain would have been a disaster, obviously. They bring out Torkoal, okay. I mean, given that... Got Sylveon Armarouge in the back, I think I'm okay just clicking Earthquake here. Terra Steel does not help us out at all. Terra Sylveon is quite good, though, so I think I just Earthquake in this position. And Dual Wing Beat Indeedee. Although I don't expect to survive with Salamence. They're going to go for a Terra. I mean, Choice Specs, Helping Hand, Fire, Terra, Eruption makes sense. Oh, is it Fairy Terra? I think it's still okay because I have Assault Vest Garchomp, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, they're just going to go for Eruption, Dazzling Gleam, right? That Eruption did a lot less than I thought. Wow. I feel like I'm too used to just Fire Terra. Weakness Policy Torque Walker using a Slowpoke team with that. Salamence gets crit, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I can just bring out Armarouge and Wide Guard now, right? Wide Guard Earthquake? How in the world does my opponent get around that? The answer would be having, The answer would be having Psychic as well as Earth Power and doubling up in a Garchomp. I don't even know if that KOs, to be honest. So I'll just go for an Earthquake and a Wide Guard this turn. Maybe Torkoal protects. Don't know the item on Torkoal. It's definitely not Choice Specs, right? I did so little. Oh, this might just be Helping Hand Earth Power into Armarouge, right? That would be a really good play. Nicely done. That was really good. That does not KO me, though. And it's going to activate Weakness Policy. Nice job, Armarouge. Nice job. Okay, I think with that, it should win us the game. Let's see, Indeedee, we've seen Dazzling Gleam, Trick Room, Helping Hand. I would expect Follow Me as the last attack, right? So it probably doesn't have Protect. It also means your only offensive move is Dazzling Gleam, which means... I mean, maybe it's not actually Follow Me, right? I guess that could be the case. Yep, Gastrodon's the last one. Sylveon's well positioned now for this end game. 2 turns of Trick Room. I don't need a Terra Sylveon, right? I think Terra Steel Garchomp actually should be fine here. Like Terra, Earthquake, Wide Guard again. Because Wide Guard covers for whatever Indeedee wants to go for. I mean, the only thing that this would lose to is if Gastron for some reason clicked Earth Power into the Garchomp slot. Fire Terra Sylveon doesn't accomplish anything, right? Because it still makes me weak to the Gastron. In fact, we really don't want to Fire Terra with it. So just thinking about where it makes sense to Terra, I think Garchomp is the natural answer. There's Wide Guard. What? That's bonkers. What? I think it's so fine with Sylveon. I would expect Sylveon to actually just win this endgame. But... Huh. I have to say, I did not see that coming. Well played. Very well played. I can just Hyper Voice here and go for Protect. There's no point in Wide Guarding with Armarouge in my opinion, so might as well just go for Protect. But wow, that was very impressive. This team is public. And also this is one of the downsides. You can't always guarantee protecting after Wide Guarding. But I figured I might as well go for it because what else am I going to go for, right? Yeah, they just Earth Power me. The thing is, I think Sylveon just wins the 1v1 against Gastron, which is why I wasn't worried about this endgame very much, but wow. What an interesting match. I think if Gastron has Yawn... No, you would need to run Yum, Protect, and Recover. I just don't think they're going to have that. 2 Hyper Voices should KO single target. I guess you could, like, Recover Stall infinitely. My opponent played this game very nicely, though, honestly. Like, because if they don't go for that Helping Hand Earth Power play, or they don't go for the Earth Power into the Garchomp slot, we really should just win this one. Okay, they go for Clear Smog, but that's not enough. Hyper Voice single target should still get the KO here. Nice. Yeah, that's fine. That was definitely an interesting game, though. A lot of surprises. Oof. Games like this always really stress me out. But Sylveon was so good. Yeah, it was an incredible. It was funny though, because I was like, yeah, you know, the only thing we lose to is this one play. But I think, like, because this team is fairly well known, right? Like, when you finish 3rd in the ranked season and, it's piloted and built by a very well-known Japanese player, like, my opponents probably run into this team a lot on the ladder. So props to them. I thought they played excellently in this game. I think the main thing is that the matchup against Indeedee Armarouge is kind of difficult, and so getting that knockout on Armarouge on turn 1 when they wide guarded gave me a huge advantage. But honestly, they did everything in their power to claw back into this one, so full kudos to them. Okay, Mouse, Hold, Annihilate, Indeedee Armarouge, Torkoal, and Sylveon. Double redirection makes me a little sad for Palafin Armarouge. Speed up, most likely, with potential weakness policy, weak armor on their Armarouge. Maybe I just go Expanding Force here. I'm worried about Wide Guard from their Armarouge, though. I'm kind of down to just lead... Okay, wait, let's actually think about this. If I were them, I'd be really afraid of the Indeedee Armarouge, so I would lead my own Indeedee Armarouge personally. Garchomp is a really good answer into that because of Earthquake pressure. I don't want to necessarily Tailwind, nor do I think Salamence is that strong in this matchup. I'm down for Garchomp plus Armarouge. Sylveon and Palafin. One thing we could do, by the way, is Earthquake ourselves, Dark Terra with Armarouge to activate Weak Armor to give a speed boost onto it. It's kind of niche, though. And I have to worry about Wide Guard from their Armarouge. But basically, if they lead Indeedee Armarouge, how do you deal with the threat of Expanding Force and Stomping Tantrum simultaneously? You go with Armarouge and Annihilate. Okay. I'm really curious what kind of Annihilate set this is. So I'm honestly pretty interested in like the self-Earthquake play right now. Earthquake. But like, does Annihilape really just let me attack them? I could see Annihilape going for a Terra, for example. This is kind of crazy, but what if I just straight up Earthquake myself without Terroring and Armor Cannon? I'm kind of down. Okay, Armarouge protects. Well, this is awkward. This is a pretty interesting trade. I'm actually just gonna knock out their Annihilape, but I'm gonna knock out my own Armarouge. I wasn't expecting Choice Scarf on Annihilape. That's really cool. Okay. I mean, it's not a bad trade, but if I just click like Dragon Claw with Garchomp, I'd be in much better shape here, but I'm just gonna knock myself out. My theory, by the way, was like, hey, I can outspeed my own Armarouge, Earthquake myself, and then KO Annihilape, while also threatening Armarouge. But, like, I was expecting the bulk up kind of Annihilape set on that team, not Choice Scarf. Especially because they have Mouse Hold, but that's a good bluff by them, right? Very cool. Okay. Well, Weak Armor and Weakness Policy activated, just not in the way I expected it to. But now I can bring in Palafin, flip turn, Stomping potentially. I'm just worried about Indeedee. Yeah. That is quite scary. They also have the threat of Trick Room. I wonder if you Wide Guard here. I don't know. Protect and Wide Guard? It makes sense to potentially Terra this. I think Indeedee is still kind of forced to follow me here. If I Terra Steel, I become weak to fire, which is really concerning, right? I don't want to Earthquake myself. Okay. Oh, this was questionable. By going for flip turn, will have activated my own opponent's own weakness policy combo. Oh, but they go for a Terra, okay. So no weakness policy at least. But I just boosted their speed, which was not smart on my end. Dark Terra. Well, my Sylveon's not really good into that. Okay. That was a bad flip turn on my end, though. Although, I guess by dropping your defense, how much does Stomping Tantrum do? I mean, Expanding Force is going to hurt here, right? That's what I'm mainly not a fan of. I just wanted to pivot the Palafin out. Yeah, this is not good. It's actually not that much damage. Could have been worse. Stomping almost gets the KO. I have a defensive Steel Terra here. Like, I'm down to Terra, Earthquake, Protect. What a weird game. What a weird game. I don't think Fire Terra Sylveon helps that much, although it would help against Hyper Voice from their Sylveon, I suppose. But I'm taking too much damage from Expanding Force right now. I'm just afraid I'm going to get red and they're going to, like, Armor Cannon Garchomp now. Good Protect. Okay. That puts me in a pretty tricky spot, I would say, right? I don't know how fast their Sylveon is. I mean, even if I read into this, what would I have done? Rock Slide, Hyper Voice? Doesn't feel great. How much does Earthquake do to them? It's okay damage. They Hyper Voice in return. Okay. I mean, you're just Expanding Force now, right? It's Life Orb, which is actually pretty interesting. Expanding Force Hyper Voice here is really strong. Psychic Train's still up, so I can't quick attack you either. Yeah. Maybe Terroring Sylveon was actually the call. What would that really do for me, though? Not much, in my opinion. Oh, Garchomp survived that, though. Let's go. Okay, well, is my Sylveon faster than theirs? If so, we win. Assault Vest Steel Terra Garchomp is honestly really impressive defensively. So Armarouge faints. Nice. Okay. Whoa, what a sweat, though. They actually, I think, they could have considered going for Armor Cannon there, but the reason to not go for Armor Cannon is because then Sylveon's too healthy, which makes sense. But this was a really bizarre game. We'll take it, though. Okay, their Indeedee comes out. I shall just Dragon Claw and Hyper Voice. And now we're good. So, I think one thing that's fun about Armarouge with this weak armor weakness policy set is you can see there's so many different ways to enable it. I've seen beat up Mouse Hold. We saw the Choice Scarf Earthquake on the Annihilate, which I wasn't expecting. So, yeah. Definitely not the way I expected to activate the strategy, but it ended up working out, I guess. The main thing was it was questionable to flip turn into Armarouge, mainly because we knew they were going to be weak armor given the Earthquake from the Annihilate. So, boosting their speed there was kind of a questionable decision, but ended up working out okay for us. So, yeah. Okay, we've got King Gambit, Golden Go, Pelipper, Palafin, Salamence, and Amoonguss. So, this is the team that Jody used to get top 4 regionals. I actually use this team on my channel if you want to see me play with it. It's also got Steel, Tailwind, Salamence. How do we want to approach it? It's Grass Terra on the King Gambit. There's Wide Guard from the Pelipper. Go with my own Salamence. AV Garchomp feels really good. What if I just went Armarouge Indeedee here? What's that concerned about? Pelipper? I don't know, it's the threat of Wide Guard plus King Gambit that makes me not feel super comfortable about the Palafin strat. I guess with Salamence, I might activate Defiant on King Gambit, but are they going to lead that? I don't know, Pelipper King Gambit as a lead is actually really solid in my opinion. But you know what? I'm here for Palafin Armarouge. We'll Salamence Garchomp in the back. I think Sylveon's actually pretty good here with Hyper Voice and Fire Terra, but I'm not going to bring it. With Salamence plus Garchomp, I do have Brick Break into King Gambit as well, and it's Assault Vested, so they would more or less be forced to Terra onto Grass on turn 1 if they lead it. It leads for some interesting mind games. They had to go for Pelipper King Gambit, okay. But I didn't lead Salamence Garchomp. Just kidding. I mean, this could Sucker Punch me, right? Do they expect close combat? Do they know? I'm down to close combat protect turn 1. See if they Terra. That'd be so satisfying, like one-shotting King Gambit. Okay. No Terra to start. Is that KO? It's not enough for a one-hit KO. Okay, that's fine though. I'll still take it. Pelipper Tailwinds, yep. Wow, nicely done. Cleaving into the Palafin slot. I have Choice Scarf here, so I might still outspeed, but I'm willing to close combat. Hydro Pump into this slot makes sense. I want to get a Tailwind up ideally. They might Sucker Punch Palafin. Who do I want to Terra in this game? Probably Salamence. Okay, I'll switch into Salamence for Armarouge. Nice Protect on turn 1. I was hoping Close Combat would do a little bit more, but if anything, it's a testament to King Gambit's bulk, right? Okay, I'm actually activating Defiant this way, which is a little scary. They don't Sucker Punch, and I still am faster with Choice Scarf Palafin. Nice. This is one of the reasons why Close Combat exists on Palafin, right? It gives you much better coverage into the Dark-type Pokemon that otherwise threaten the Armarouge. They go for Hurricane. Okay. Just less than half, which is pretty good. They bring out their own Salamence. Now their own Salamence could go for Steel Terra. Garchomp is decently positioned with Assault Vest, but we want to figure out how to pivot that in safely. My Palafin's not really that good right now. Like, do I really want to consider switching out? It might be better to just sacrifice Palafin here on my end. This could be a double sacrifice, honestly. Close combat into Mence and Tailwind. Yeah, they're gonna Terra. So with Armarouge plus Garchomp in the back, I can now Earthquake your own Salamence, but obviously I have to worry about Wide Guard. This is special Salamence with Hurricane, Draco, Tailwind, Protect. Oh, they Hurricane into Palafin. Wait, that's a big deal, because I don't think your Hurricane knocks out my Salamence, and so that means I would get Tailwind up, which is huge here. They actually go for Hydro Pump. Excellent. Nice. We survive. Brilliant. That's huge. And with that, it's time to bring out Assault Vest Garchomp. Now Armarouge can also hit Salamence for super effective. Salamence here. We are max speed, so we outspeed their Salamence, which is huge. I've got Ground Terra, or sorry, Steel Terra, so we just Steel Terra here. I'm content just clicking Dragon Claw as well as... I don't know if double Dragon Claw even knocks out Pelipper, is my problem. Armarouge in the back. Okay, I'm down to Dragon Claw Dual Weemby because Dual Weemby gives me slightly more crit chances. I can't miss with that. Salamence switches. Cool, makes sense. Golden Go? Ooh, Amoonguss, okay. Armarouge is now pretty well positioned as well. With Expanding Force. Like I can Rock Slide Expanding Force, or Earthquake Expanding Force, or Earthquake Wide Guard, or Earthquake Protect. So Steel Terra here is going to be really handy. Pelipper doesn't have Protect on the opposing side either. So, yeah, I think getting that Tailwind up with Salamence just put me in a much better position. I talked about missing Dual Wimbee, and I actually will miss it here. Maybe double Dragon Claw was just enough. That really didn't do very much, so I don't think so, honestly. Hydro does less than half, though. Tailwind peters out. Okay. That miss is so bad. Okay. They could set up their own Tailwind. They could Spore. I actually want to double Dragon Claw into Pelipper right now, I think. Actually, I'm down to Dual Weemby in case they Rage Powder. Nice. Wide Guard. Okay, that's fine. There's the crit I was talking about in last turn. Okay. Pelipper is gone. I faint from Life Orb, though. This is going to be interesting. I have Armarouge, which can hit both of my opponent's Pokemon for super effective. But I'm going to get put to sleep here, likely by Amoonguss, and my Garchomp will be intimidated. Yeah, that miss sucked, because if we had connected on Pelipper, then I could... Well, I guess I don't know if Dual Weemby would have knocked out anyway, to be honest, right? If I didn't get that crit. They've already committed Terra, so you can't go for Dark Terra Amoonguss. Salamence comes out. Draco Meteor Hurricane. You do get an Intimidate to start. Three turns of Rain left. One turn of Tailwind. I mean, I think I'm down to just expand... yeah, like... Expanding Force into Amoonguss and burn a turn of sleep with Garchomp. Okay, we're faster than Salamence. Expanding Force, single target, KO's Amoonguss, beautiful. And now I just have Armor Cannon into your Salamence. So they'll need a Tailwind or Draco here. Let's see which one they opt for. Draco. Okay. But the thing is, by clicking Draco Meteor, now you're at -2 special attack with Salamence, and it's Draco Meteor, Hurricane, Tailwind, Protect, right? So Garchomp, as long as we don't get super unlucky here, should win. Let's go for Earthquake. Like, I'm Steel Terra plus Assault Vested, right? And they're at -2. Okay, stay asleep. They go for Hurricane, 120. Down to 97, yeah, that did 23 damage. No confusion, which is good. Last turn of Rain, you are -2 special attack. I -1 attack. Let me just Earthquake. Okay, I do stay asleep for another turn. They Draco this time around. 97 down to 66, yeah. Steel Terra AV is just too strong here. That's why I felt fairly confident about this endgame. Rain stops. Now we Earthquake. Okay, Garchomp wakes up. Single target Earthquake against Steel Terra Salamence now. We're at -1, but it's enough for the KO. Beautiful. Cool. That was an intense battle. I think turn 1, Armarouge just, was ignored, but close combat from the Palafin was so huge in dealing with King Gambit here. So, yeah, I think one of the interesting things with this team is that, like, Palafin, Armarouge, Indeedee is a really fun combo, but I actually almost never execute it because it is just fairly difficult, right? There's so many, like, Dark-type Pokemon in the format. There's so many Wide Guard users. I think, especially if you're, like, higher up on the ladder against teams that are well composed, like, they'll have answers into it, right? So often you'll have to find other ways to utilize the Pokemon, but it's fun because you have it as an option, which I think is really nice. So, yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. I feel like we featured a lot of fun different combos with this team and ran into a lot of different interesting teams as well. I'm mainly sad I couldn't just get like one full sweep where I use Palafin to activate Armarouge and switch in Indeedee. But as you can see from the team report, that's not exactly the point of the team. That might be able to work against teams that have like no answers against it, but as you saw today, we ran into a lot of potential problems. Wide Guard, Dark-type Pokemon, right? Pokemon that just don't take much damage from Expanding Force. And so it's a really committal strategy if you go with that. And for that reason, it didn't feel safe in really any of the matches. But we still led Palafin and Armarouge, right? And made it work. So, yeah. Thanks so much as always for watching. Thank you to Hirofumi for building and sharing the team. And I'll see you all next time. All right. Peace.